Last year, the world got turned upside down due to a pandemic, commonly known as COVID 19. It's coronavirus. But within Christendom, the Christian church, there is an epidemic. Well, you could almost say it's a pandemic as well. What's the difference between a pandemic and an epidemic? A pandemic is an epidemic that's started to spread across the globe. And this literally, what we're going to talk about, we're just going to cover 2021. And I can't cover 2021 with the cases coming out of Christendom just in a little bit of time this morning. This is going to be an introductory leading into the end of the year. We're going to talk about what has come out of Christendom in 2021, keeping in mind that this has been a worldwide pandemic out of the Christian church worldwide for decades. Nobody wants to talk about it. Well, let me rephrase that. The Protestants didn't mind it becoming an issue within the Catholic Church. They just don't want to discuss it from within the Protestant churches. But it is, and it's very real. It's not a joke. It is over and over and over. So let's go through some recent cases. And as I go through these recent cases, these are just, you can confirm this. This is not made up stuff. This is not fake news. You can do your homework. You can find this for yourself. To find these cases is very simple. Just go to your search engine and type in pastor charged. And the majority of the cases you're going to find are of regards to this epidemic within the Christian church. So let's just start with some more recent cases. And we'll work our way back. How's that? We'll work our way through this never ending list that grows week in and week out, keeping in mind, please, the fact that the numbers caught are small compared to the numbers that exist. Because that's the way it is with sexual abuse cases, even rape. They don't all get reported because of the shame, the embarrassment. A lot of people stay quiet, and a lot of times the church covers over and defends the accused instead of the accuser. So this one, November 16, 2 days ago, Steve McCallan Thomas of Garfield, Georgia, was charged Monday with 2 counts of sexual exploitation and 2 counts of sexual battery. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation said in its news release. Thomas is a former youth pastor at the Restoration Worship Center in Metter. We're talking about Georgia. GBI said. Thomas turned himself into the Candler County Jail on Monday night, according to the news release. If they ask anyone with information, should contact the GBI Regional Investigative Office in Statesboro at 912-871-1121. Why would they put that out if they've already got their man? Because these cases, historically, there's a lot more victims than just the one that came forth. And they would like to know all the cases. Shall we continue? Shall we continue? 3 days ago, Portsmouth, Virginia, VB Rock Church pastor charged with solicitation of prostitution from a minor, arraigned Monday. Portsmouth, Virginia. A Virginia Beach pastor accused of trying to solicit sex from a detective he thought was a minor was in Chesterfield court on Monday, this past Monday, excuse me, for his arraignment. John Blatchard, who since voluntarily stepped down as lead pastor at Rock Church in Virginia Beach, was among 17 men arrested in late October during an online sting operation led by the Chesterfield County Police Special Victims Office. Keep in mind, these are the men praying over you and your children, Preying, to be fair. He faces charges of solicitation of prostitution from a minor age 16 or older using a vehicle to promote prostitution or unlawful sex. It goes on, there's a lengthy article here. After the news broke of his arrest, the church said they couldn't comment further, but they did release a lengthy statement on Facebook saying that he had voluntarily stepped down as lead pastor and from all his ministerial duties. So that is just a couple. Shall we go on? Former pastor accused of stealing, this isn't a sex case, but over $500,000 from the church. Former pastor Brian Keith Herring is former pastor of the Harrison Faith Assembly of God Church, was arrested Saturday for stealing over $500,000 from the church. It just goes on and on. Former Lacey pastor charged with sexual assault crimes pleads not guilty. Jeffrey Kian Ziz, a 44-year-old former pastor of Calvary Chapel, North Thurston, is accused of 9 sex crimes involving his children. He's a military veteran, turned himself in. He confessed vaguely to sexual misconduct in his own home. Another Christian pastor. 9 counts: first-degree incest, first-degree rape of a child, first-degree child molestation, second-degree rape of a child, second-degree child molestation, third-degree rape of a child, 2 counts of third-degree child molestation, second-degree attempted rape. Good Christian pastor leading the church, connecting people with their Lord and Savior, needless to say. Morgan Hill pastor arrested on suspicion of child molestation 2 weeks ago, the Mercury News. Carlos Ramos Castrijan was arrested on allegations of inappropriate physical contact with multiple children. Not just one, but multiple. 65-year-old pastor. Detectives investigated Carlos of Hollister for allegations that keeps giving me a pop-up there. I can't get rid of. You get the point. I believe you get the point. But we'll continue with other cases. I'm just going back just 5 days in the news lead here. Former Veneta pastor charged in federal court on sexual abuse allegations. And they got this where they block these articles effectively now. Let's see if it's going to let me get in here because I want to take these. Okay. Former Veneta pastor was indicted in federal court this week on allegations that he sexually abused 5 children whose ages ranged from 7 to 16 years old over the course of 16 years. It took them 16 years to break this guy down. That means it's happening now somewhere in Christendom, not by him, but by others. Roy Edward Williams, 63, he pastored the Bunker Hill Baptist Church in Bonita during this time period from around November 2002 to December 2018. He was charged in federal Northern District of Oklahoma with coercion and enticement of a minor in Indian country, aggravated sexual abuse of a minor in Indian country, abusive sexual contact of a minor between 12 and 16 years of age, and possession of child pornography. We're covering these cases of abundance just in recent times here out of Christendom that nobody wants to talk about. Here's another one. It just continues on. Well, this one I already covered. This is the one out of Georgia. He's all over the news right now because he's brand new. There's a Hazelwood. They used an old iPhone to build a case against a youth pastor charged with grooming and sexual assault of a Hazelwood teen. They found explicit text messages from an old iPhone that shows the links to which a youth pastor allegedly groomed a juvenile for years before he allegedly sexually assaulted her. Hazelwood police said the pastor now faces several state and federal charges, and authorities believe there could be more victims. No matter how careful the parents are, the kids need to be educated on types of techniques used by these predators, these Christian church leader predators, the worst of the worst in my opinion, because of how they put themselves up as if they had some moral superiority and that church was some great connection to some benevolent God, which clearly it's not when you dig in and start opening your eyes. It's a cultural thing. It's not anything to do with a God, no decent God anyway. Let's go to Decatur, Alabama, our neck of the woods. How's about that? From 2 weeks ago, ex-Decatur pastor arrested, charged with sodomy. Former Decatur pastor was arrested at his home Friday and charged with sodomy following an investigation by the FBI and local authorities. Danny Dwayne Pitts, 58 of Hartselle, was arrested after a Morgan County grand jury indicted him on first and second degree sodomy. Lovely, huh? 58 years old. You see how, and it's not an age thing. These guys running up close to 70 years of age and into their 20s, molesting, grooming your kids in the Christian church. And here's what they want. Anyone with information on allegations against Pitts, please contact Lieutenant McDearman with the Hartselle Police at 256-751-4917 or the Morgan County DA's office at 256-351-4610. Clearly, they believe there's other victims of this 58-year-old pastor, Christian praying pastors here. That's what we're talking about. Praying pastors. We haven't gone too far. We're still in 2 or 3 weeks, and we've already expended how much time going over these cases? 15 minutes. We've gone just 2 or 3 weeks here, and this is just the ones that get caught. Let's go on. Let's look at this guy, this wonderful man of God, this Christian leader of your Christian churches, former pastor charged with paying teen boys for sex. He's unable to afford a defense attorney. He gave all his money to these teen boys for sex. He faces 10 criminal charges after Michigan State Police said he and his wife, Jasmine, paid teen boys for sex. He's set to go to trial December 1. something, and he says, I'm only the support for my family, is what he said. And of course, to little boys is paying for sex. Out of the good Christian praying pastors. Just continues on and on. Of course, this is a priest. They're not. I'm not letting the Catholics off the hook by any stretch. That's not the point. But I'm also not letting the Protestants off the hook either. Priest faces sex crime charges in Monroe County. Churchgoers came out of Sunday morning mass when they learned that their pastor Gregory Lowney had been arrested. Oh, I hope it's not true, because nothing like that should be happening, but it happens every day. That was a quote from Marie Heard of Havana. Arrest papers show that Pastor Gregory Lowney thought he had been communicating online with a 15-year-old boy that he met on Tinder. He allegedly arranged to meet with a teen at a business Friday night. Of course, that's when he was arrested because of the sting operation, but he fell for it. It's really sad to hear, but we're all human. Even as a Christian, we get tempted by the devil. Even as we stand up and pray for the flock, we pray on the flock. He's been a part of their church family for years. He wasn't a newbie. He was, as one person said here, he's very nice. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. It's a praying pastor. That's what's going on. It is. And this, whatever it is, it's in the hand of God. God will be watching him. Well, God watched him do this, and God did nothing. See, that's the point. And nothing transpired. God idly sat by and let the kids and all this go on in the houses that are built, supposedly, for people to worship this God, but that God they're worshiping does nothing about this epidemic. Nothing. Nothing. Shall we continue this morning? Get a Thursday morning run here. I'm not making this up. You can find this for yourself. It's very easy. It's not hid. It's public information, and this is only the ones that get caught. This is only the ones that get caught. This is only the ones that get caught. Let's be very, very real about this. Monroe County pastor charged in child sex abuse case. This is from just a couple of weeks ago. Here's another Youngstown, Ohio, former Valley youth leader enters plea on sex charges. Mark Kuprick, 22, pleaded not guilty on his arraignment in Mahoning County Common Pleas Court before Magistrate Nicole Alexander to charges of pandering sexually oriented material involving a minor, pandering sexually oriented material involving a minor or impaired person, and 2 counts of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles, importuning, and gross sexual imposition. This is some stuff. It just doesn't end. But we'll continue to go a little bit further here this morning, and I haven't even gone that far back. Let's keep that in mind. This one was a little bit earlier. This is June, and I remember this case. I go over this stuff continually. This goes back to a Florida youth pastor charged with hiding a camera in a bathroom. Escambia County, which is Pensacola. Pensacola church youth pastors arrested and charged after a surveillance camera was found hidden in one of the church's bathrooms. David Patrick Nims, 37, is charged with one count of video voyeurism by a person 18 or older who is responsible for the welfare of a child younger than 16. It's a second-degree felony. Nims serves as a youth pastor at Calvary Baptist Church on Pine Forest Road in Pensacola. Wasn't a Catholic church. It's Baptist, Calvary Baptist, Pine Forest Road. Hidden camera in the bathroom. Lovely praying pastors. Lovely, just lovely. Just makes you really want to wrap your arms around that institution of Christendom, doesn't it? What about this 63-year-old praying pastor? Central pastor charged in multiple rape cases says, "I'm sorry." I guess he was sorry while I was doing it, and he wasn't sorry till he got caught. Central pastor is apologizing after being accused of sexual assault. This is Mobile, Alabama. The Mobile police say it's preliminary investigation suggests Gregory Adams contacted some of his victims through churches in Central Alabama, and Waynesboro, Mississippi. Central police say Adams was taken into custody this afternoon in Wagerville at his son's house. Greg Adams violated a sacred trust of this community, those that depended on him most. He preyed, that's P-R-E-Y-E-D on, and he took advantage of. 63-year-old Gregory Adams is accused of sexually assaulting multiple members of his congregation. Public Safety Director Lawrence Betsy says it began when some victims were juveniles. Our victims began their traumatic experience with him beginning at age 12, and it continued until about 30 to 31 years of age. How long did it take them to catch him? And how many's out there now? How many's out there now? He was pastor of the Life Song Ministries in Central. Yeah, go to church and get prayed on. So let's it just continues on. And then we go to Hillsong, and that's been in the news a lot. Mega church. Brian Houston was charged with concealing his father's child sexual abuse. Don't matter what size the church, don't matter where the church. Tacoma Park pastor, August of this year, arrested on rape charges. Faces multiple charges, 37 years of age. Jeffersonville pastor charged with sex with a minor in Allen County. He was a youth pastor at Faith Baptist Church in Fort Wayne, where he worked from 2012 to 2018. They gave him 6 years of praying and praying and praying. A Dothan, Alabama pastor charged with on drugs and other interesting charges. Birmingham, Alabama. Here we go. 1 month ago. We're still in 2021. We've gone nowhere. This is just this year. That's what I'm sticking to as we come to the end of 2021. Birmingham pastor indicted on sex abuse charges. Birmingham, Alabama. Grand jury's indicted a Birmingham pastor on 2 counts of first-degree sex abuse. Peter Wren Sr. was arrested earlier this month and has since bonded out of jail. According to court documents, 72-year-old is accused of sex abuse of a minor between the ages of 12 and 16. 72-year-old abusing sexually minors between the ages of 12 and 16. Christian pastor, another praying pastor. You're not immune to it. The church is no safe haven for anybody. Get over it. Church is no place to find God, but you can find praying pastors. According, let's say, attorney, he does have an attorney, Emory Anthony. And as he's out on bond, get this, Wren is still with his church, which is East Birmingham Church of God in Christ. Not sure if he's still preaching or not, but what if he's still praying? The people who know Bishop Wren know he wouldn't commit an offense of this nature. Yeah, famous last words. People are easily fooled, aren't they? Easily conned and easily fooled by these sick, horrible individuals who are preying on their kids. Auburn, pastor charged for child molestation. August 24, 21, this article. He's got 4 felonies, a Class B, 2 Class C's, or level 4. Multiple counts of child molestation going all the way back to 2006. All the way back to 2006. He touched 3 children under the age of 14 with the intent to arouse or satisfy the sexual desires of the child or himself. He was or is listed as the president and pastoral overseer of CMI Global, a fellowship of ministers and churches that supports local churches. And of course, that organization said, we're removing his picture and information from our website, but he's still a member at his church in Auburn. Okay. Praying pastors the church won't let go of. Oklahoma pastor. It's still in 2021, folks. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Oklahoma pastor. You can look this stuff up for yourself. You don't have to believe me. Charged with lewd acts. He asked a 13-year-old to run away with him. Oklahoma City pastor is accused of asking a 13-year-old to run away with him in an attempt to have a sexual relationship. 13-year-old's mother contacted police after her daughter told her of the situation. According to court documents, this 53-year-old pastor, praying pastor out of Christendom, had contacted the girl through text messages and pretended to be looking for her dad. He wouldn't tell the girl where he got her number, but he called her asking what she wanted and said he would buy her anything. During the call, the girl said he wanted her to run away with him when her parents were gone from home. Court documents states the girl's mother then pretended to be her daughter and recorded conversations with the pastor. Praying pastors, yeah, in God's hands. No, the parents had to take it in their hands because that God in that church did nothing for these kids, still doing nothing for these kids. It is an epidemic. It's around all through, and I'm sticking pretty much to the cases strictly out of our country, United States of America. It's just amazing stuff. Just amazing stuff. And nobody wants to address it, but I'm going to address it because it's your kids. I don't have any kids going to church. It's your kids. Let's go out. Here's another one. September. This is not old stuff, folks. We're still in 2021. Pastor accused of sexually abusing girls he met at California churches. California churches. Here we go. An Orange County pastor was charged Tuesday with sexually assaulting 3 girls he met at different churches. As a 57-year-old Riverside resident faces charges of 5 counts of lewd or lascivious acts with a minor younger than 14, and 3 counts of oral copulation or sexual penetration of a child 10 or younger. He's having sex with a child 10 or younger, a pastor of the Christian, right out of Christendom. And you're going to pray to this God that ignored this shit and ignores this crap day in and day out? You think this God's going to sit by until these people get caught and all of a sudden your prayers are going to count as you keep supporting this institution of church? 14 counts. You know what these words mean, right? Oral copulation, oral sex, blowjobs, okay? Sexual penetration of a child, sex. Unbelievable. They were just arrested September 17th, not that long ago at all. I haven't even got through half this year yet. Far from it. Far from it. Morgan Hill, pastor, arrested. It's still, this is what's the date of this one? You can look this up. Like I said, don't take my word for it. Look it up. This is not old stuff. This is November 3rd of this year. Pastor Morgan Hill, pastor from Hollister, arrested for allegedly molesting children. 65-year-old. Ministries generation. Physical contact with multiple children. Unbelievable. Got any information? Call Detective Sarah Alanis, 669-253-4957. They want to know of more victims because they know what you don't want to talk about. They know. This is going to be the last one. I've got things that I do have to do this morning. I've been going 30 minutes and gotten really nowhere with all the cases coming out of Christendom. So we're going to stop with this one here. And this is going dated, this article. Former pastor charged with grooming a teen girl. And this is October 18th of this year, Decatur, Illinois. Macon County Sheriff's Office Investigations Division arrested a 36-year-old Joseph Kroll last Friday after he was accused of grooming a 15-year-old girl. 15-year-old girl. He was a pastor of a local church in rural Decatur. He's no longer associated with the church. Well, a little late to be cleaning house, right? Damage is done. They received information that he attempted to solicit a 15-year-old girl for sexual activities via Snapchat. This girl was a member of his congregation. Actually, I connected with him through the church where he prays and prays and prays and prays. Juvenile's mother reported the incident and led to his arrest. Any information regarding to Crow at a Decatur, any other cases, if your daughter or son, well, check their phones, check their accounts, and then call the Macon County Sheriff's Detectives at 217-424-0867. And ladies and gentlemen, I could go and go and go with this. I've really just handed in 30 minutes just a handful of these cases, and you see what's going on in Christendom today. The praying never ceases. And if this came out of a Muslim mosque or any other organization besides Christianity, even with the Catholics, the Protestants would be all up in arms. They'd be, close them down, close them down. Well, I'm saying close them down. This is a pandemic. This is an epidemic. I could go worldwide with what I'm presenting. I'm just sticking to the United States. I'm not even going worldwide with what I'm sharing. This is just in our North America. Anybody that would still support this institution where this epidemic it just doesn't end. I've been following this for decades. It doesn't end. Nobody wants to talk about it. I'm talking about it. Wake up, people. Protect yourself. Protect your kids. This is not a godly. This Christendom is not. No, there's no benevolent, loving God out of Christendom. No loving, benevolent God to be allowing this out of his church. To hear these ignorant people saying it's God's hands now. Well, whose hands was it in? Oh, it was a praying pastor's hands when he was molesting the kids. But now that he's been arrested, it's in God's hands. I'm not impressed. Not impressed at all.